Hello and welcome to the program from the State Assemblies. This is where we review legislative activities across state houses of assembly. On this episode, Lagos lawmakers raise concerns over 480 billion deficit in the 2025 budget proposal. Jigawa Speaker set to bring 8,000 out-of-school children back to class, tackling education challenges head-on. As Nasarawa Assembly takes action, mining company summoned over illegal operations. Details of these and more stories will be coming your way shortly. I am your host, Ene Ojonugba. Thank you for staying with us. In the week under review, Lagos state lawmakers have raised concerns over proposed 480 billion naira deficit financing in the 2025 appropriation bill. This was at a plenary presided over by the Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa, to scrutinize the 3 trillion budget estimates recently presented by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to the Assembly in Lagos. Musa Toiliat has the details.
It was a plenary meant to scrutinize the 2025 budget estimates as lawmakers commenced deliberations on the appropriation bill.
Appropriation Bill 2025. With your kind permission, Mr. Speaker, sir, may I move that a bill for a law to authorize the issuance and appropriation for the year ending 31 December 2025 be read for the second time.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu had proposed 59% capital expenditure and 41% recurrent expenditure, with a projected deficit of 408 billion naira in the budget estimates. Chairman, Committee on Budget and Economic Planning, Lukman Oluma, raised concerns on deficit financing in the appropriation bill.
In the last year's budget, it was a deficit finance budget of 3.67 trillion. Another 408 billion has been projected for deficit finance. And I want to specifically speak to debt financing. Debt is good, provided it's used for the purpose that is meant for, especially for capital development of the state. The trajectory of financing our budget with debt has to be cautious. We have to be cautious about it, and we need to have a very sustainable and pragmatic way of financing our budget so that we don't rely solely on debt, most especially when the foreign exchange, as we look at it today, is fluctuating and is rising. Even the interest rate that we pay on our local debt is also on the increase.
Some lawmakers noted that there is no conscious consideration given to food security and electricity infrastructure in the proposed budget.
I didn't see so much with respect to electricity. This House, under your leadership, had passed the electricity bill into law. And by now, I expect that something would appear within this budget with respect to electricity, because electricity is the enabler and driver of the economy. And so I believe somehow something must be done in that area, that we are able to jumpstart production of electricity for Lagos by Lagos.
There's nothing here on food, the food program that we started. Let's really look at those low-hanging fruits, from agriculture, youth empowerment, youth promotion, and security, into making sure that these are adequately taken care of for our people.
The agricultural sector, however, with particular attention to developing our rice mills, building of our paddies, activating them for proper productivity in line with the Sustainable Development Goals, and making sure that there is food security in the land.
The need for the state government to explore budget financing options beyond seeking internal and external loan facilities was also raised by the lawmakers.
Lagos should have a portfolio share of that Sukuk bond, in order to support our financing. More so, the bond, we should float more of the bond, because Lagos is a state to be. If we have bond, then we can reduce on our borrowing.
If we pay much attention to tourism, I think by developing the infrastructural aspect of it, it will generate much more income for Lagos State.
Speaker Mudashiru Obasa committed the 2025 Appropriation Bill to Joint Committee on Appropriation and Finance.
I committed to Joint Committee of Appropriation and Finance and to report back in 1 month.
The Lagos State House of Assembly then adjourned sitting sine die.
Delta State House of Assembly has passed the State Appropriation Bill for 2025 fiscal year. The Appropriation Bill, christened Budget of Fiscal Consolidation, has an increase from 936.1 billion to 979.2 billion naira. Assembly correspondent Susan Esu reports.
Presenting her reports, Marilyn Okowa Daramola, who is the chairman, House Committee on Finance and Appropriation, said the House carefully examined the reports of other subcommittees of the House during the budget defense exercise. Giving a breakdown of the amendments to the proposed budget, Okowa Daramola recommended that the recurrent expenditure be amended to 348 billion 767 million 758,635 naira only, representing an increase of 0.014% against the initial proposed sum, while capital expenditure be amended to 630 billion 461 million 60,084 naira, representing an increase of 7.34% of the proposed capital expenditure.
After a critical examination of all the recommendations received from subcommittees, the Finance and Appropriations Committee recommends that the total amended budget size will now be 979 billion 228 million 818,719 naira only.
The House thereafter dissolved itself into the Committee of Supply to enable it consider the report of the committee following a motion by the Majority Leader Emeka Nwobi and was seconded by member representing Anyocha South, Isaac Aunzia. After careful scrutiny of the proposed amendment of the 2025 Appropriation Bill at the Committee of Supply, the bill was read the third time and passed in unanimous voice note. In
348 billion 767 million 758,635 naira as recurrent expenditure, and the sum of 630 billion 461 million 60,084 naira as capital expenditure for the services of the year ending on the 31st day of December 2025 and to appropriate same for the purposes specified in the law. Third reading and pass.
Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
The Speaker, Imomotimi Guo, said the passage of the 2025 Appropriation Bill is a testament to the collective responsibility of the state legislature to the welfare and prosperity of the state. He commended the lawmakers for a job well done, adding that the House will continue to live up to its responsibility and synergize with the executive arm of government in ensuring the dividends of democracy gets to the people of Delta State.
Budget size as amended is now 979 billion 228 million 818,719 naira.
In another development, Speaker Jigawa State House of Assembly Haruna Aliyu Dangiatin has unveiled a plan to return more than 8,000 out-of-school children back to school in his constituency to make their future bright. This is part of the initiative adopted by Jigawa State Assembly to create viable interventions meant to address the challenge of out-of-school children in Jigawa State. The Speaker, while flagging off the campaign in Sobawa Dala in Mega local government area of Jigawa State, also pledged to support legislation that would address the root cause of the problem.
Records show that 10.5 million children in Nigeria aged 5 to 14 years are not attending school. The situation, according to experts, may have adverse effects to nations' socio-economic stability. Addressing this crisis requires collective efforts from government officials, non-governmental organizations, and communities, among other critical stakeholders. The goal is to ensure that every child has the opportunity to education and ultimately contribute to societal development. Jigawa lawmakers have a crucial role to play in addressing the education crisis within their jurisdiction by initiating targeted programs and policies to directly influence enrollment rates and promote educational development. Speaker Haruna Ali Dangatun, representing Mega constituency, has taken proactive measures to combat the challenge of out-of-school children in his constituency. This is as he directed other lawmakers to do so.
That's why we engage all the stakeholders, the district heads, the village heads, even the ward heads, and even the imams of the barriers of the Jumar mosques of the entire local government, so that they can preach in the Friday prayer mosques to tell the parent the importance of education.
The speaker targeted 8,000 out-of-school children in his constituency under the initiative supported by UNICEF. Stakeholders of the event described the initiative as a commitment in implementing local solutions against poor enrollment of children in schools, giving assurance that it will go a long way in making a difference towards addressing key educational challenges.
As you are aware that 32% of our budgetary allocation to 2024 goes to education, and this is the highest in the country. Now the concept is, the vision is that education, as far as basic education is concerned, should be given the topmost priority.
As part of the initiative, 300 children enrolled at the initial phase of the program. Each received essential support to facilitate their schooling program. This includes preschool bags, uniform materials, and financial assistance, among other support received.
Governor Kefa's led administration towards the passage and implementation of the 2025 budget estimates. This was at the presentation of the over 400 billion naira to the State House of Assembly by the governor for consideration and consequent approval and passage. Parliamentary correspondent Godwin Inaligu completes the report.
The 2025 budget estimate, tagged Budget of Transformation, is anchored on strategic investment towards the growth and development of Taraba State. The governor, while laying the draft budget estimate on the table at the hallowed chambers of the Assembly, said the major focus areas of the budget are education, infrastructure, agriculture, security, job creation and governance, amongst other sectors of the economy.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to thank you most sincerely for all you have continued to do for us since inception of this administration. I'm not taking this for granted. You have made the work easier for me to deliver the promises I made to the citizens of this state. And we will not stop there. We will continue to solicit for your constant support to make Taraba State great again.
Speaker of the House, John Kizito Bonzena, briefed the House on some of the salient achievements of the Dr. Agbu Kefa's led administration for the past 1 year, some of which include restoration of confidence of the people of Taraba State in governance. Others include unprecedented reduction of criminality, armed robbery, kidnapping and banditry, human capital development, massive renovation and reconstruction of infrastructures, as well as a free and compulsory education policy, amongst others.
It is therefore very important to remark here that judging from the successes of the 2024 fiscal year, as mentioned above, the people of the state will witness another eventful year of effective and responsive governance, which is the manifestation of a strong, courageous, and focused leadership. The 10th Assembly of Taraba State House of Assembly, under my watch, has unanimously resolved to identify with you and all your programs that are tailored towards moving Taraba to the next level.
He promised on behalf of his colleagues to fast-track the passage of the bill for his assent to become a law.
You are watching the program from the State Assemblies, a program that reviews legislative activities in the state houses of assembly across the nation. We now take a break. The program continues shortly.
Are you looking for a short channel to make your business, goods and services go viral? Look no further, as NTA Parliament is your short channel. Take advantage of our wider reach and advertise your products and services on NTA Parliament DSTV channel 370, GoTV channel 126, StarTimes channel 306, and Free TV channel 706. For more inquiries, contact the marketing department, NTA Parliament, NTA Headquarters Area 11 Garki Abuja, or call these numbers 080-383-40464 or 080-770-78055. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
Thank you for staying with us. Meanwhile, the Benue State House of Assembly has called on the Commissioner of Finance and the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry to appear before the House to explain why the governor's directives on unfreezing of the state's accounts were not carried out. These followed a motion moved by member representing Ojuwan constituency, Mr. Blessed Honor, on the floor of the House. Assembly correspondent Grace Ichekpa reports.
It could be recalled that on the 21st of March 2024, members of the Benue State House of Assembly unanimously passed a resolution calling on Governor Hyacinth Alia to unfreeze all frozen accounts of ministries, departments and agencies to enable them function effectively. Member representing Ojuwan constituency and the Deputy Minority Whip, Mr. Blessed Honor, expressed worry over the non-release of funds to enable the state MDAs carry out their duties effectively.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I'm personally worried, and I believe not only me, everybody here is worried, the state is worried, that as I speak to you, based on information collected by me in our last oversight function to some of the ministries and MDAs, we have discovered that an instruction that the governor gave on 22nd of March that the accounts that have been restricted should be unfrozen with immediate effect. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, March 22nd till now, the immediate effect has not come to effect.
I don't see the reason why we should appropriate money again for executive, where we appropriate money and only 12% of our budget is implemented. It's very sad, Mr. Speaker.
If care is not taken, our ministries and parastatals and some of the high institutions we have in Benue, they are going to be in moribund ministry and parastatal like Tarakomi, because there is nothing for them to work with. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are they taking? That the Honorable Commissioner appeared before this House on Tuesday, next 10 a.m.
In a related development, the Majority Leader of the House, Mr. Sate Tise, moved a motion calling on the House to invite the Special Advisor to the Governor on Internal Security and that of Labour Matters, Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Youth Mobilization and Empowerment, and Chairman, Benue State Motorcycle Hirers Association, BEMOA, to the House to brief them on the current state of the leadership of BEMOA.
Informed that the leadership crisis in the Benue State Motorcycle Hirers, BEMOA, still lingers despite calls for resolutions. Worried that if not checked, the crisis may degenerate into violent crisis which may tamper with the peace of the state.
Similarly, members representing Kwande West and Kwande East constituencies, Mr. Thomas Dugeri and Mr. Samuel Mato, moved a motion calling on the Benue State government to immortalize late Wantari Paul Unongo, considering his contributions to the political and economic development of the state. A 1-minute silence was observed in honor of the late Second Republic minister. Meanwhile, a bill for a law to amend the College of Education Katsina Law 2021 and that of Oju were presented on the floor of the House by the Majority Whip, Mr. Peter Ipusu.
Still in Benue, the State House of Assembly has resolved that Governor Hyacinth Alia should brief members on the current security situation in the state. This followed a motion moved by the member representing Logo constituency, Mr. Jiji Shimapeve, on the recent spate of killings in his constituency. Assembly correspondent Grace Ichekpa has details of these and other plenary matters.
Mr. Jiji Shimapeve, who decried the spate of killings in Logo local government area, says many are feared dead as a result of the last attack and called on the state government to deploy more security operatives to the area.
These disastrous acts of terrorism have become a recurrent nightmare, with the most recent incident occurred in Ayila, which is on 9th October last month, 2024.
Other members who lent their voices say the crisis has affected the socio-economic development of the local government area and its neighboring communities.
It is very bad that up till now we're still discussing about inability of enough security to be able to tackle the challenges of herdsmen in our local communities.
Apart from lives being lost in their numbers, the influx of people from these parts, from the affected parts, into other local government areas is also equally worrisome. You find these bad eggs coming into particularly local government as it is, and the eastern part of it, because it's cosmopolitan in nature, to hibernate and wreak havoc at night.
We, the entire Benue State and the State Assembly, unanimously agreed and amend the volunteer guard and the livestock guard law to make it a civil protection guard, and nothing has happened about it.
We're talking about insecurity in Dogo. We're talking about insecurity in Gwe West. Honorable Speaker, there is a terrible thing happening in North Bank here. There is a terrible thing happening in North Bank here. There are killings every day.
That the House should direct the State's Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, to immediately provide relief material and support to the affected communities in Logo is for taking Gwe West.
Also during plenary, the House resolved that the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Benue State, should appear before the House to brief members on the state of the bills passed on the floor of the House and transmitted to the Executive for assent.
The constitutional provisions on bills passed by the legislature is that once bills are passed and transmitted, the executive governor has 30 days within which he is to assent to these bills or reject assent. And what follows is that if they are assented or rejected, communication is made back to the Speaker, to the House, informing the House of whatever the decision is.
In a related development, the House resolved that supervisory councillor nominees of the 23 local government areas should be screened by the local government legislators. This followed a motion moved by member representing Taka constituency, Mr. Mange McClinton Mange. Meanwhile, the leadership of the Benue State House of Assembly received some women organizations and NGOs at the Assembly premises to mark the beginning of the 2024 16 days activism. The majority leader, Mr. Sateti Se, who received the women groups on behalf of the Speaker, Mr. Onduna Dajo, called on all stakeholders to join hands in the fight against gender-based violence in the state. He He assured the women of the commitment of the legislators in ensuring the rights of women are protected.
Elsewhere, Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Umar Eno, has presented a total of 955 billion naira to the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly for approval as budget estimate for the 2025 fiscal year. The budget, christened Budget of Consolidation and Expansion, has 300 billion naira for recurrent expenditure and 655 billion naira for capital expenditure. Kelvin Samuel reports.
The governor hinted that the 2025 budget is anchored on the policy thrust of the Arise agenda aimed at achieving food security and rural development through investment in electrification, primary health care services, schools, markets, seasonal roads, and other modern living facilities.
The budget is targeted to consolidate on the maintenance and advancement of world-class infrastructure that the state has come to be known for nationally and complete those that were started by previous administration, which time did not permit them to be completed and commissioned.
Speaker, Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly Udemo Otong thanked the governor for his commitment to the transformation of our state, especially in the areas of rural and infrastructural development, as well as other key sectors of the economy. The Speaker also commended the governor for the robust working relationship between the executive and legislative arms of government and promised that the 8th Assembly will continue to support the Arise agenda of the governor to succeed.
That this House, through executive oversight, will ensure that the 2025 budget delivers on its promises to stimulate the economy of the state by further focusing on infrastructural development, inclusive growth delivery, and prioritizing the welfare of our people.
In a bid to curb illegal mining in the state, the Nasarawa State House of Assembly has summoned a mining company to appear before it for questioning. This is coming as the House went on oversight to the mining company and other mining sites in the state. Adams Abdul Kadri reports.
The chairman, House Committee on Environment, Adamu Omodefu, led other lawmakers to visit mining sites in Awit and Lafia local government areas of Nasarawa State to investigate allegations of hazardous activities by the mining company operating in the region. The visit followed a petition submitted by some non-governmental organizations, NGOs, highlighting the detrimental effects of the company's operations on the health and survival of residents in the affected communities. Concerns raised include environmental degradation and air pollution, which pose serious risks to the livelihoods and well-being of residents. The chairman summoned the management of the company, who happened to be absent at the time of the visit, to appear before us for clarifications.
Before going into such things must have been signed. And now that was the reason why we felt the management of the company should meet the assembly tomorrow by 10 o'clock. That has been established, and they say they are going to respect that, and we hope they will respect that by the grace of God.
Okay, assuming they fail to
certainly we will
appear in the assembly.
Certainly we will invoke relevant sections of the law.
During the visit, the chairman engaged with community leaders and company representatives to find lasting solutions for sustainable mining practices that prioritize the health and safety of the people.
This is where we call it a day on this week's episode of the program from the State Assemblies. Remember, you can still watch this episode, news and other programs on our social media handles scrolling on your screen. Thank you for watching. I remain your host, Ene Ojonugba. Bye for now.